Y, and you're watching The Talk of the Town. Today I am here with Duncan, and today she has agreed to teach me something that I have never done before. What are we about to do?
We are going to can a corn relish today, so I'll walk you through the steps on how to use a water bath canner.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so we have used our approved recipe, which is really important to start with a recipe that's been tested for safety and for quality.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you find them from good approved sources like Ball or Jarden Home Brands. Those are great ones, or the university websites.
Okay.
So we've made our corn relish in here, and it's very vinegary smelling, you can tell.
Yes.
Some peppers, onions, celery, like the sweet corn, and we are going to take it, we're going to be putting it into our mason jars here. You want to make sure you use good mason jars. Don't want to use just any old jar you find at home because they can crack or break. And this stuff in here is very hot, so we'll use a funnel to put that in there today. We're going to fill our jar all the way up. That's a little hot, so let me show you what the jar is going to look like when it's full. It's going to look about like this one.
Perfect.
Yeah. So once we get our jar filled, we will take it. We're going to use a 2-piece lid here. These lids we used to have to preheat. We don't anymore because kind of cool. Science changes, and so does canning, which even though it's an old process, the science has changed in the rubber around here, so we don't have to preheat these anymore. But it's important to use that 2-piece lid and put it on, and then just put this down a little bit snug. You don't want to full on tighten it down because it'll break your jar. After we get that done, we have our boiling water bath canner. I have it preheating here. I'm going to take the lid off. It's pretty warm. Oops, sorry, that's loud. Then we're going to take our filled jar here, and we are going to put it in here. Now it's important you have at least 1 to 2 inches above this, and then you bring it to a rolling boil like you would a pot of pasta.
Okay. How come?
If you boil it too low, it's not going to get to the proper temperature to process it. If it's too high, you'll get jars that look like this, where they boil it out, it just boils too rapidly.
Okay.
So we're going to pack all of our jars in there, and then check how much water's on top, and put your lid back on. Now once this gets to a rolling boil, that's when we'll start what they call as a processing time. So our processing time is the amount of time the jar has to be boiling for in order for the heat to reach the center of the jar to kill a bacteria called botulism.
Interesting.
Yeah. So want to make sure and follow those recommendations, otherwise the heat won't reach it, and then your jars could have botulism. So yeah. And after the processing time is done, you'll take this back off, and you're going to turn your heat off and let it sit there for about 5 minutes. That way you're not taking it from a really hot environment to a really cold environment, because you can cause a shock to the jar and it can crack and break. So let this sit here for 5 minutes, and then we are going to take this out and just lift it straight up and straight down over to here. Now the exciting part for most people who are canning is once you get it over there, you're going to hear a click, and it's going to be that lid suctioning down to it.
So that's how you know.
Yeah, that's the end product.
Okay.
Yep. A lot of people think that just because it's sealed means it's safe. That's not necessarily true. That's just the end result of canning. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for giving me this little demonstration.
Yeah.
And let's sit down and talk a little bit more about you and the program you work with.
Sounds great.
We are now ready for the interview portion of our show. And you said that you've been working for the Colorado State University Extension Program for 9 years.
Yeah.
Tell me about what it is that you do here.
So I'm a registered dietitian, and for CSU we are called Family and Consumer Science Agents. So I help provide the local community with education on food safety, nutrition and health, food preservation, a lot of programs like that that are based around healthy families and healthy communities.
And what sparked your interest in doing this job?
So I grew up in Montrose on a cattle ranch, and as I was in school to become a dietitian, I realized a lot of people don't understand the connection that they have, like from where they're growing their food to how it's getting onto their plate. So I love educating people about that process and the whole food system that's involved in choosing healthy foods and using them to live a healthy lifestyle.
Have you seen a change over the years in the disconnect of like children being able to understand where their food comes from? Or since you're from a more rural area, are they still pretty educated?
I think it depends on the kid and the circumstance that they are in, where they grew up, you know, their family life, things like that. But we definitely have a lot of education to do ahead of us. I was teaching in a 3rd grade classroom in Fort Collins, actually, and none of the little kids knew that a carrot was the shape of a carrot. They thought they were the shape of how baby carrots come packaged. So just simple things like that they see every day, but they don't know its original form. We have a lot of education to do, but that's also what makes this job neat, as I do a lot of kids cooking classes, and we go out to the garden here at our Orchard Mesa campus, and they get to pick the produce and harvest it, and then we bring it into the kitchen and we cook it with them. So it's been a fun project.
So today you were teaching a food canning class, but I understand there's a lot of other different types of classes that you teach. Tell me about those.
So I teach a lot of food safety classes for adults. People have to take the course or a course like it in order to get their retail food license to have restaurants and food trucks and things like that. So I help teach those classes to get people their license so they can do that. I also teach a lot of food safety classes just for basic food handling cards, people getting into the industry. And then on top of that, I do all of the nutrition and health programming as well. We do have a program coming up in Montrose on September 21st, and I'm organizing as a homesteading conference. So it's teaching a lot of skills that have maybe been lost over time to people moving into the area or people wanting to become more self-sufficient and relearning some of these more rural type of skills. So we are having a canning class there. We're talking about how to start an orchard. We're talking about soils and compost and fermenting and all those topics. So it should be a great event.
So there's going to be so many different things all packed into that one event to have a well-rounded, you said homesteading as well? That's incredible.
So it'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Hopefully we'll get a good turnout.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add before I let you go today?
I'd like to invite everyone to our open house at Western Campus on September 26th. I think that'll be a great evening, and you'll get to learn more about Extension and CSU's programming here locally in Grand Junction. I think it's important to know what we do here. I don't think we highlight ourselves well enough sometimes.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay, well thank you for meeting with me today. I enjoyed your little demonstration for us, and thank you for thank you for talking with me.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
That's all we have this week on the Talk of the Town. Thanks for tuning in.